about our resource person.
Good afternoon, one and all. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker, Mr. Pradeep Kumar Bison, who is currently working as a technical director, geospatial at SATU. He also worked as a GIS analyst at Mahalanobis National Crop Forecast Center. I extend my hearty welcome to you, sir. I request you to continue the session, sir.
Sir, session is going to be handed over to you, sir. Please.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the kind of introduction. So basically, I want to say basically my topic is I'm going to share what are the use cases. So we generated a lot of the products through the remote sensing data, and from as well as the remote sensing and the ancillary data, how people can use in a different sectors. That is the one part. Second, I'm talking about the our journey. Basically, we our journey has been started from a 2000 early 2016, and then from a 2016 basically we started our company, and the or people the or companies, the main management, the peoples are basically they came from a the space sector. So earlier they worked in ISRO, and I was working in the Ministry of Agriculture. And then we started in 2016 onwards. We generated a lot of products, modules, as well as we filed the fourth patent as well. So I'm going to show how we can use the remote sensing and the ancillary data in for the in a different verticals, like in the insurance industry, banking industry, or the urban industry, as well as if someone wants to do the monitoring of the property side. So how we can use the remote sensing data in a different aspect. So now, for before I start to this particular part, I want to tell about the remote sensing, how it's work, what are the basics of the remote sensing, so what are the satellites data sets are available at present, and if there were different types of satellite data is available, then how people can use, as well as we have a open innovation platform that I already shared with the Mr. Ganesh. So maybe most probably he shared with the other participants. So directly you can go there if you want to see the what is the conditions are going on, or at a especially at a India level, pan India level, they can search and they can use their data sets if they want to work in a research sector, as well as if they want to generate some products. So directly they can use that ready to product, and they can build some applications in a different sectors. Yeah, so first basically I am going to cover the what is the basics of remote sensing, because if I will start directly what are the use cases, then again you will it will be very difficult to kind of to relate the different satellite data part also. So in a basics of remote sensing, what is the remote sensing actually? In a remote sensing, what we are getting the information without the physical contact of any object. If we are getting or collecting our information of that particular object, and if we are able to monitor at a the continuous basis, then by physically it is not possible, because let's say if I want to monitor one particular farm, and that farm is available, let's say 300 or 400 kilometers far from my location, then how I can monitor that particular farm? Then definitely I have to go with some other kind of technology like a remote sensing. So if I want to monitor at a daily basis or weekly basis or fortnightly basis, then definitely I can use the remote sensing, and I can generate a different insights, and I can monitor at a continuous basis, as well as I can improve or the operations, farm operations and all. So in a remote sensing, basically there were different types of platforms are available where the people are basically putting sensors, or if some, if you have a camera, you can use different types of different types of the kind of things you can use, like you can you can mount that camera on a car, or in an aeroplane, or maybe on a different the kind of transportation activity you can use, or you can mount a camera on a drone itself also. So these are the different types of the platform basically where people can use the part. Then what type of at present, what type of the basically the remote sensing, the satellites or the resources are available at present, and the this or the if there were different types of satellites are available, like a polar satellites or geostationary satellites. So these satellites, we have to establish on a different orbits. So if we are going with the polar satellites, then definitely that we have to establish in a 500 to 900 kilometers orbit. If someone wants to go with the geostationary satellite, then definitely he has to put that satellite in above 32,000 kilometers. So on a basis of the distance from the Earth of that particular satellites is also depends on a coverage, as well as the repeativity. Means repeativity in sense, if I am watching I am taking a information of one particular object today, and I want to monitor same object at a daily basis, then definitely I have to go with the geostationary satellite. If I want to cover a more area, then also uh, I have to go with the geostationary satellites. So now so if there is a one particular satellite, then how it's work actually. So in that case, basically you can see in a screen, this is the electromagnetic spectrum. So basically, if there were one particular sensor or satellite, even if we are taking a normal camera, so in a normal camera you can see there were the visible bands or visible channels, you can see very easily. This is so the visible channels is lying in between 0. 0.4 to 0.7 micrometer. But if we are going with the one particular satellite or any satellite where the the near infrared bands are available, micro infrared bands are available, then definitely these bands or the data sets are going to capture on a different wavelength. So this is the wavelength you can see here. So if we are if and the every wavelength wise, the electromagnetic spectrums, the frequency will change. So if these are the gamma rays, X-rays, so this particular part generally people are not using in a satellite. So if I'm talking about the satellite, then definitely it will start from a 0.4 micrometer or 400 nanometer onwards. 400 nanometer to 500 nanometers. If I'm going to put any one particular band, then that particular band is going to capture a blue rays. And from 400 to 500 nanometer, that will come under the green. For 500 to 600 nanometer, that will come under the red band. And the 700 nanometer or zero point 0.7 micrometer to 1.1 micrometer, that will go under the near infrared, or then near infrared. Then in between, from a 1.1 to 1.3 or 2 micrometer, it will go under the MIR, mid infrared, and then far infrared will come. And after that, the sphere band, sphere will come. After sphere, your microwave the bands will start to come. So if so so this is the basically electromagnetic spectrum. On a basis of the electromagnetic spectrum itself, people are putting different types of bands in with the different kind of characteristics, right? So now how it's working. So basically in this case, so we are there were the two types of the sensors or satellites you will get. One is the active sensors, another one is the passive sensors. So in a passive sensor, basically if the rays are coming from a solar radiance are coming from a sun, so then some radiance will absorb, some will reflect. So whatever the rays is going to reflect from a sorry from a earth, that will go, and that particular rays have to cross a different atmospheric layers. So what happens sometimes is that will absorbed by the atmosphere, or maybe the cloud and all. So that the the reflected rays are not going to to capture by the sensor. So in that case, we are not able to get a exact the feature characteristics. So there where we have to reduce this particular part, means whatever the contribution is coming from a aerosol side or atmosphere side, that we have to remove from a satellite data. So for that particular things, we have to do the atmospheric corrections. If we are capturing a one particular image and that image is not getting a proper, the the DN values or pixel values that is representing your features, then we have to do the some kind of bottom of the atmospheric correction. So there were different types of techniques are available. People are using 4C, 5C, 5 sigma, 6 sigma, like that, or some people are using a flash, the atmospheric correction algorithm. And for the image side, people can use a dark pixel subtraction. These are the image correction process if we want to get a exact feature on a ground. So this is the sorry the type of satellites, if you can see here. So there were different types of satellites are available. One is the communication satellite. So in a communication satellite, if we are talking about the communication satellite, so in a communication satellite, basically the internet, televisions, all the data, the data we are getting from a communication satellite. If we can communicate very easily, and the wavelength, if I'm talking about the wavelength side, that will go from 100 to 300 meters height. Then the weather satellites is also coming. From there we can get the temperature, the cloud movement and the all data set. Then the navigational satellites, from a navigational satellites, basically we are if we want to get the one particular feature's position, then definitely we have to go with the GPS, and from that GPS is going to connect with the navigational satellites. And then the Earth observation satellite. There, from Earth observation satellite, you will get the polar satellites as well as geostationary satellites. In the polar satellites, also you will get optical data as well as the radar data, and microwave data. So there were the different characteristics is available in a both satellite side. Like if some people are going to use optical data sets, then definitely in a kharif season, when the cloud cover is very high, that time they are not able to get the data sets from a optical. So in that case, they can go with the micro data. From a micro data sites, they can even the cloud cover is available. Use cloud cover is available on that particular region. Then also they can take they can collect the information and they can get the images very easily, because the micro data can penetrate very easily the cloud cover, and it will provide the information regarding that particular object. Now the sensor specification sensor specification side, if you will see, so sorry sensor specification and characteristics by the resolution side, if we are talking about, then definitely there were four different types of the the sensor specification one will come. One is your spatial resolution. Spatial resolution means if you are going to taking two different data sets, maybe one data set spatial resolution is a 5 meter, and another one data set those have a spatial resolution is a 10 meter. Means on the ground, if the feature has a size of the more than 5 meter or up to 5 meter, if the feature size is available on the ground, then we can detect very easily in a 5 meter spatial resolution data. But now second is your the spectral resolution. So that is also depend on the number of bands. If spectral resolution means there were two types of spectral resolution. One is the coarse spectral resolution, another one is the fine resolution. So if the one particular let's say in one satellite there were 6 or 7 bands are available, so what is the width? Means if the red band is available in that particular sensor, and the width of the red band is start from a 600 to 670, so this is the 670. So 7 nanometer is a 70 nanometer is the width of that red band. So that is defining the spectral band. So if we are going with the narrow band, so narrow band basically you will get in a hyperspectral data. So in a hyperspectral data, what will happen? The narrow bandwidth you will get. So within a 600 to 670 nanometer, if they are going to put a 10 bands, means each band, the bandwidth will come 10 nanometer. So these are the fine spectral resolution. The part will come resolution side. Then third is your spatial, then spectral, then your temporal will come, and then uh, temporal resolution will come. So in a temporal resolution side, basically if the one particular satellite is going to pass, the swath is, let's say, 100 kilometer, so it is going to cover 100 square kilometer area of that particular region. And the repeativity, if he is going to pass on the same path every 10 days interval, but I have another one satellite, that particular satellite swath is, let's say, 2000 kilometer, then, and that is providing a daily basis the images, then the swath will so there were a part will come a swath side, temporal resolution side. So one satellite's temporal resolution come at a daily basis, another one will is the images will come at every 10 days interval. So that part will come. And then fourth one is, if you can see here, the micro data side. So terrain side, or the how we are going to cover the terrain side, or if I want to generate a z axis means if I want to calculate the height, then how I can calculate. So for the this particular part, what we have to do, we have to take a stereo pair, and from a stereo pair, basically from a stereo pair we can take two images. One is the side image, another one is the back side image, and from both side image we are generating the parallax, and on the basis of the parallax we are generating a DEM, digital elevation model, or the we are doing ortho rectification, as well as we are generating a z or maybe height we are generating. So yeah, so now the spatial resolution, how big are the pixels, that this part I already explained. So if you can see here, the different satellites have a different spatial resolution. So if I'm talking about the NOAA AVHHR, its spatial resolution is a 1 kilometer, but the temporal resolution is very high. These data sets are available at a daily basis. If I'm going with the medium resolution, so that resolution is coming from 100 meter to 1 kilometer. Pixel size is a 100 meter to 1 kilometer. But that these data sets also we can get at a daily basis, as well as the weekly basis. But if I'm going with the high resolution data, where the spatial resolution is 5 meter to 100 meter, means whatever the features are available on the ground, and that feature size is more than 5 meter, then easily I can see in an image. So, but the temporal resolution side, again, these data sets, if I'm talking about the Landsat, then definitely every 16 days interval you will get a one scene. So the temporal resolution for the Landsat is a 16 days. Same thing for the, if we are going with the very high resolution data, then definitely we can get a very high resolution data where the pixel size is greater than 5 meter, but the swath, basically swath means how much area I am going to cover, that will be very less. As well as the temporal resolution side also, it will be very high. After maybe 20 days or 24 days, I will get a one particular image, or maybe sometimes it's 1 month. So this is the spatial resolution. So let's say this is the 10-meter spatial resolution. Here in this on a land, basically you can see this is the palm tree actually. So if your spatial resolution means pixel size is a 1 meter or greater than 1 meter, you can easily identify the palm trees. But if your pixel size is more than 1 meter, means it's 4 meter, then you will get this type of dots itself. And again, if I am going towards the coast resolution side and my pixel size is a 20 meter, then definitely this type of information you will get. So this one particular pixel is a 20 meter by 20 meter. So within a 120 meter by 20 meter, maybe 3, 4, or 5 palm trees palm trees will come under the one particular pixel, and I will get a the average dn value of that particular area, that is going to represent maybe 5 to 10 palm trees. Now the common orbit types I told earlier also. So there was the one is the geostationary side, one is the polar orbit side. And this you can see how the sensor or satellite is going to cover the whole globe. So here also you can see the blank patches. So basically in this particular area you will not get any image from a satellite side. Now you can see the different satellite have a different the path and draw system. So on a basis of this path and draw systems, basically they are covering the whole globe. So if you can see the MODIS, so if the MODIS can pass from here today, so it is going to cover 2200 kilometers, the width basically. So that much area it is going to cover in a one particular then, and the next day it is going to pass from here, then third day it will going to pass here. Like that, he is going to cover the whole globe basically. So this is the coverage versus the spatial resolution side that I already explained. So if your coverage is going to high, then your spatial resolution is going to reduce. So both are, the inversely, the proportional. If you are going with the very high spatial resolution, then definitely your coverage will is going to low. Yeah, now I explained already earlier what is the active and the passive sensor. The active sensor basically it's generating the own, the source, light source, and on a basis of that light source, whatever they are, uh, generating or emitting from a source side, that only they are collecting. In a active sensor side, and these active sensors basically we can use in a night time also very easily. But in a passive sensor side, whatever the source, external source basically like a sun is reflecting, and it's going on a ground or the earth, and from earth whatever the energy is going to reflect, that only the sensor is going to detect. So this is the basic, the principle of the active and the passive sensor side. Now this is the SAR or microwave data side. So in a SAR or microwave data side, there were the two types of things. So one is you can see here the optical remote sensing side, basically that is belongs to in a visible range side, and somehow in a near infrared side. But if I'm talking about the microwave data, then basically it's lying in between this particular, the scale, that will start from a, uh, the 10 days to power 2 to 10 meter. Basically, it is the range will start from 1 centimeter to 100, in between the 100 centimeter. You will get a range, and this basically in a synthetic aperture radar side, basically whatever the time is there, basically on a basis of the time we are the it is capturing the signals, and it's providing the your object information, and it can penetrate very easily the cloud cover. So so how we, if you are if we are going to collect radar data or micro data, then how it will see. So you can see in this particular image, this particular, the area is, this is the basically your river body. So here you can see a very smooth surface, because here the roughness is low. But if you are talking about this particular settlement area, here the roughness is very high, because there were um, so why this roughness is coming, why this surface is very rough, because there were uh, 3 or 4 types of, the uh, bounce you will get there. But in a water body side, you will get a very smooth bounce, means it's coming, it's going. But if you will say here, so on a basically on a settlement side, it will come here, then again it will bounce again one more time, means there where you will get a 1 or 2 or 3 bounce effect. So that's why this particular, the this settlement side, you will get a very bright. Now I explained about the this micro data side. So in a micro also, there were these are the different bands, and these different band have a different capabilities. Every band have a specific characteristics. Let's say if I'm going to use a C band, Basically, C band means where you can see the frequency is in between the 4 to 8 gigahertz. So this band is available in a Sentinel-1 sensor, Sentinel-1 data. So in a Sentinel-1 data, if I'm going to use, so it's the C band frequency is 5.38 gigahertz is there. So from with the help of C-band, I can identify, I can use very easily in agriculture as well as the ocean purpose. But yeah, if I'm going with the X-band sensor, then definitely I can use that particular sensor in agriculture, oceanographic, and as well as the high resolution radar set. So on a basis of the frequency range, you are going to target, or you are going to use these particular bands in a different applications actually. Now the SAR side or microwave side, these are the basically the satellites or the sensors are available at present now. Earlier, from a C-band side, you can see the radar set is available. Sentinel is available, Sentinel-1, Sentinel-2. These are the available at present. But from a X-band side, you can see the ComSat satellites. These are the satellites are available. And the L-band side, these are the allos, and these satellites are available. So for the different application side, we can use these particular satellites and the bands itself. Now the multispectral side, basically in a multispectral side means optical. These are the optical sensors. So basically these data sets are, you will get uh, in a different spatial resolution, means from coarse to fine, as well as the different bands are available. So on a basis of the different sensors or satellites, you can generate or you can use in a different applications. Let's say if I want to do the counting of trees, then definitely I have to go with the worldview 3 data sets. Because why I have to go with this, or maybe worldview 1 data set? Because here the spatial resolution is very high, because I have to count the trees. If I am going with Landsat data, then definitely the 1 pixel size is 15 meter by 15 meter. Then definitely I am not able to get that particular tree signature in a Landsat data. But if I'm going to use the worldview data, then definitely I can count the tree very easily. Now each and every band have a different characteristics also. Let's say if I'm going to do use in a agriculture aspect, and there where some stress condition is formed in a one particular region, then how I can identify that particular region is going under the stress condition. Then I can use the red edge bands, near infrared bands, and the red band, and I can generate a different indices. Indices means that is a combination of different bands. So on a basis of the indices, I can detect very easily which particular part is going to stress, what is the stress level and all. If some part is coming under the disease condition, then definitely with the help of this, the red edge band, near infrared, and the red and green band, I can identify which particular pocket is going to affect by the disease. Now, the multispectral imaging imagery application, basically there were different, the satellite have a different applications. Let's say if I am going to use a multispectral site, then which part we can use for to monitoring the biomass, vegetation health, the crop yield estimation, as well as the flooding part also we can use. Then if I want to check one particular area, what type of the changes is going on over the year at a time, at a temporal basis, maybe every 2 year in 2 years interval, or maybe 5 years interval. So this kind of application, if we want to do, let's say if I want to get information what was on a 2000 in this particular area, then at present if I want to do manually, then definitely I have to reach on that particular place. I have to ask the lot of people what was there on a 2000. But if I want to remotely check what was there in a 2000, then definitely I have to go back in a that particular year. I have to check what are the satellite data available. On a basis of that satellite data, I can very easily can do the chain detection. So it is very economical, basically, if we want to collect or if we want to see what was earlier and what is now. Now, the hyperspectral imagery side also, I explained already. If there is a continuous number of bands with a very fine wavelength wise, then that particular part or that particular the sensor will come under the hyperspectral. So let's say in a multispectral you will get a one particular band. This is a blue band, so its wavelength maybe it will start from a 400 to 500 meter. If I am going to divide this wavelength in a 10 parts, then definitely this will go under the hyperspectral. Means number of bands is going to increase in a hyperspectral, and you can use a hyperspectral band or basically these channels for a specific purpose. Let's say if someone wants to do a study of a red macroalgae part, then in a this multispectral band he is not able to generate this type of insights. Then how he can generate? Then definitely he have to use a hyperspectral data, and especially if he is going with the band number 5 or band number 29, he can generate very easily this kind of insights. Means very fine insights, or we are going to target a one particular thing, then easily we can generate our insights through hyperspectral data sets. Now these are the satellite bands. Different satellite bands have a different wavelengths, and each and every wavelength wise have a different use also. So basically, if you can see here, the MSS bands 1 to 8 is available, and each and every band wise how it's going to how we can see the satellite bands, what type of images basically you will get from a satellite, and how it's look like in a grayscale. Grayscale means if I'm going to put a one single band in between 400 to 700 meter, then you will get a one particular image that will come under the grayscale image. Now these are the basically the satellite part, how people can use in a different application. And now I am going to tell how we used and we generate a different products from a satellite data, as well as how we basically you know uh, correlate with the other ancillary data with our satellite data, and we generated the different products and modules. And these modules basically we are using in a climate change side, infrastructure side, as well as the agriculture side. So from agriculture side, basically we are using satellite derived insights for the crop damage, as the estimation, crops life cycle monitoring side, crop yield estimation side, and crop estimation side, and the sowing, harvesting, and pest prediction side. But in a infrastructure side, basically we have one particular the product that is that's name is Satso Skies. So basically in a Satso Skies we are doing a kind of monitoring of the all infrastructure, what type of the construction, what is the stage of the construction is going on a one particular place, and if there were a damage due to from a natural disaster side. So that part also basically we are mapping and monitoring and generate things, and we are doing an analysis in under the Satsur skies. This is the Satsur sage. This is a one another one product, and this Satsur Sparta, basically in a Satsur Sparta drought and flood monitoring, the monitoring side, and if someone wants to see the what type of surface and the ground water quality side, or the air quality side, so all insights, basically if anyone wants to see, we can see on a sets or Sparta. Now, how we are going to use in a agriculture of this satellite data, basically how we built use cases. So you can see here the crop profile. So in this particular part, you know mm, people are doing sowing, and then the crop will come in a vegetative stage, then flowering stage will come, then senescence stage will come. After that, your harvesting will start. So if we are going to use this crop profile and the satellite data, and top of that we if we want to use for the agri sector or banking sector, then how we can build a product. So here, basically at the initial level, we are getting so basically, let's say this whole the crop time cycle is 90 days or 100 days. So what we are doing, we are collecting at a 6 days interval, we are collecting a satellite data, and that satellite data, every 6 day interval satellite data we are collecting, we are processing, and then and we are start to generate a different indices. Means there were basically that is a different band combinations. So we are generating NDVI, NDWI, then EVI, NDRI. So different types of the indices basically we are generating, and on the basis of the indices, basically we are mapping each and every stage of crop. If you can see here, so if at an initial stage, let's say if this particular product wants to use, if we want to use in a banking aspect, then here at an initial phase he will identify the area. Okay, in this particular area he is going to provide a loan or something. So in that case, if he is going to lend on this particular reason, then definitely he should know what type of risk is there. So from a risk side, basically at an initial level we are providing insights, and then we are capturing the risk at that particular region at a farm level as well as the regional level. And then from a bank side, he can provide a loan to farmer easily, or he can increase his portfolio very easily if there were a risk is less. And on a basis of once this he will distribute or he will provide a loan to farmers, then when he is going to collect, so how he is going to collect, because the farm in India, basically the average land holding capacity is very low. It's coming 0.5 to 1 hectare almost. So the farmers have a very limited time to repay the loan. So if banks wanna pay back from a farmer side, then definitely he has to capture that particular window where the farmer is selling his the crop, and he's generating a money from a farm. So if this particular window, if that bank is going to lose, then definitely he is not going to get the money from a farmer, and his NP is going to increase. So what will happen? This is the loss for the farmer as well as the bank, because the banking side his NP is going to increase, but the farmer side, in the next season he is not going to get a loan from a bank. So in this case, both are both are having in a trouble. So what we did actually, we generate insights and different stages. We streamlined the both side, bank side also, as well as the farmer side. So now the bank is also able to reduce his NPA, and farmer is also getting a loan from a season wise, and he is also understanding if he is not going to pay the loans on time, then what will happen in the next year. So this is the crop insights what we are generated at a district level, farm level, as well as the pixel level. So for the what is the risk, historical risk, if the this particular, this is the Srikakulam district, by the way. In the Srikakulam district, what type of sowing is going on. So let's say this is the Srikakulam district, there were almost 38 mandals are coming. This particular region is going under the late zone, but this the whole Srikakulam other mandals are going under the early zone area, early sowing time. Then how much acreage is coming at a pixel, at a farm level, as well as the mandal level or village level. Then if the there were insurance, agriculture insurance companies or the organizations are is landing on that particular district, then he should know what type of, if there were a prevented sowing or not, if there were a crop damage or natural calamities if happen on that particular region, then how much area is damaged by the natural calamities. Then what was the intensity of the natural calamities, how much area is coming under the one particular crop, because he is insuring the crop for that particular season. Then definitely, because this is the area based insurance, let's say if in a one particular district is he is insuring a paddy crop, and he insured a 1 lakh hectare area, but on a ground, if he is on a ground, you know is 50,000 hectare only the paddy crop is available, then definitely the 50,000 where is it? So that type of cross check, whatever he is going to ensure on a farm level or at a village level, definitely he should do the identify, okay, he's ensuring 1 lakh hectare means he's the 1 lakh hectare is also available on the ground. Otherwise, he has to pay more money to farmers at that particular district. Then if there was the harvest progression is going on, means which particular area is is coming under the harvesting side, and if the harvesting is going on that particular region, then what is the rate of harvesting, because if we are going to capture the harvesting rate and the harvesting area, means this particular part is going to affect the bank, actually bankers. So because they in at a this particular initial stage, they gave a loan to farmer, this is the collection side. If they don't know which particular area has been harvested, then they are not able to catch the farmers, and then what will happen, they will not get uh, you know money from a farmer side, because here the land holding capacity is very low and the farmers have a own priority. you know when the crop is on the ground, then that time only he is deciding what he is going to do once he will get a money from a farm. So in this case, we streamlined the both side, from a banking side as well as insurance side, as well as farmer side also. Now this is the or on the basically whatever we are generating the information at a pixel level or ground level. So if we want to see what type of conditions are available at a state level, district level, because if one bank is going to land or going to do the lending, it will not, the bank is not going to do a individual level. Definitely it will go at a regional level or district level. Then what will happen? So in this case, they have to see what is the overall picture of that particular district. So here we are providing a customized dashboard. Basically, in this customized dashboard, they can check each and every mandal, village, even district and state, and they can uh, they can check what type of risk is there on that particular district, even at a mandal level, what kind of performance of that district is doing, and on a basis of they can take a decisions. But at a farm level, let's say, basically this is a much lower level actually. So one farmer wants a loan from a bank, so definitely he has to provide a KCC information and a farm information, right? But sometimes what will happen, uh, you know um, the farmer have a joint account, so bank is not able to get a clear picture. So from a banking side, even the farmer side, he can tell very easily, this is the my farm, I'm doing the two times of crop in a season, and you know so this information everything is going to submit a bank. So bank is also cross check with the whatever information is going to share with the bank, that is is matching or not. If it is matching, at what level it's matching 80% or 90%, and they can take a decision very easily. But at a pandemic time, basically, banks representatives are going to usually they are doing a field visits on a farmer's home, but at present they are not able to do. Then how they will take a decision? So definitely they have to see the what type of where the farm is situated, what is the performance of farm. So all insights basically we are generating, we are providing to the bankers as well as the farmers also. And this is the collection side. If we are providing this such type of solutions to bank, then how they are going to streamline, because everything, if they are going to cover at a one particular state or region, then how they are going to target, because they have a very limited resources. Then definitely we have to streamline that particular part also. So here, on a basis of this app, basically they can target very easily where they have to go. If one bank have a 4 or 5 representative, then the at a branch level itself only, they can streamline where they have to go, which particular village, which particular farmer, all information they will get, what is the condition of the crop, what type of crop they are growing, all information they can see here itself. And on the basis of that information, they can streamline the whole process very easily. Now this is the another one use case that basically we provide insights to the state government. So this is the information basically. So on a basis of this information, you know uh, the what is the sowing window of that particular, the village. Means on a basis of the window, they can decide they have to implement contingency plan or not. Second part, if there were one particular the mandal is there, or maybe the taluka is there, within a taluka, if there were a kind of agriculture stress condition is going to form, then within a taluka, which particular pocket is going to affect by the agriculture condition stress, that insights also we are providing to customers at a defined interval basis. As well as if there were a pest condition is forming in a one particular pocket, and then from a pest side, if one or two particular mandals, one or two particular village are going to affect, then definitely within a village, we are going to identify through the satellite data as well as the ancillary data. So basically, we are using agroclimatic data sets as well as satellite and the ancillary data. Which particular village is going to affect by the pest and what is the intensity of the pest. So these all information basically we are providing to different industries actually, and they want this all information at a customized level. So every client wise, every, let's say if that is belongs to state governments or central governments or maybe the private organizations, they, so we are doing a here at the end of the we are doing a customization on a basis of the client requirement basis. Now this is the another one example where basically we did a farm level monitoring. So you can see here the different indices. These indices we generated at a farm level. Oh, sorry, farm level. So each and every farm wise we can see what type of performance basically we are getting. And basically this is the basically this is the one use case where we did a tomato monitoring. So and the tomato monitoring we did, how much area is coming under the tomato crop. This is basically in Nasik, uh, Nasik district. So how many farms are performing well? If that particular farm is not performing well, then in which particular time it's not performing, due to maybe the stage, if the crop it is in initial stage. So in that case definitely, yeah, the situation will differ from when the crop it will come in a vegetative state. So we can see here, so even the within a one particular district or tehsil, if there were different types of varieties are available within a crop, single crop. Let's say they are growing a tomato, but within a tomato, if they are using a two varieties within a one tehsil, so that part also we identified, and on a basis of the variety wise, which particular farm is performing well, if there were a disease or maybe if the yield is coming low, then why it is coming low due to variety wise, because that particular farmer is using different variety or some management practices is he is adopting some different management practices and all. That part also we are mapping here, and we are generating the insights for the uh, farmers as well as the organizations and client. Now this is the another one use case where basically we did the water conservation and water management practices. Here you can see, so this particular area is belongs to Bihar Ara. So they wants to know how much water is required to produce 1 kg of crop. So on a basis of that, they can, if there were a very limited irrigation facilities available, number of irrigation is very limited, 3 or 4 irrigation is available, then with the help of 3 or 4 irrigation, how they can you know use the irrigation, how they can do the scheduling, and how they can generate a maximum crops from that particular area. So in this case basically, in this case, basically we use our different satellite data, we generate our different insights, and on a basis of the insights, we made a plan. So on a basis of that plan, they can estimate the irrigation requirement. They can control the irrigation. Basically, control the irrigation means they are taking care if if they are going to irrigate a one particular pocket, that should not be over irrigated. And then on a basis of the irrigation, and the irrigation practices and the calculation of the duty of water and delta of water, they can uh, you know kind of they can automate, or they can do the scheduling, irrigation scheduling very easily if the in that particular region, at what particular stage is there, what crop is they are growing, and what is the stage of that particular crop. On a basis of that, they can we can calculate very easily how much water is required on that particular pocket, and on the basis of that we can streamline everything. With the limited water, we can generate a bumper yield, as well as we can cover a more area with the limited water. Yeah, so this is the another one case where basically we implemented this case with yeah. Hello. Yeah, someone wants to say something. Hello.
862.
Yeah, no, sir. I think some people unmuted this mic. Yeah. No, you continue, sir.
Pilot project, and we made a kind of the methodology, and we delivered to Ministry of Agriculture, and they implemented in 100 districts. So basically, this is the one particular part where we the streamlined the CC, basically the crop cutting experiment. So crop cutting experiment, why it is required? So if in any one particular district wants that particular district, it's providing a performance. Let's say if one particular district is growing a paddy, and within a paddy, if they are growing a paddy and the performance or the crop condition is not good in that particular district, then definitely the farmers will get the insurance money from an insurance side. So how you are going to calculate the performance of that district? Then definitely we have to collect a CC. We have to conduct a crop cutting experiment. And so let's say this is the one particular district. This is the Mahasamund district. That this is situated in Chhattisgarh. So within a Mahasamund district, earlier the government was conducting almost 8,000 crop cutting experiment in a one particular district. So if I want to see the overall performance at a district level, tehsil level, and village level, or revenue circle level, then definitely if I am not able to conduct 8,000 or 10,000 crop cutting experiment, then definitely I can't map it. So what we did, we did a stratified sampling through the satellite. What we did actually, we classified the whole district for that particular crop. On a basis of the crop, we generate the crop performance. On a basis of the crop performance, basically we bifurcate it in small clusters at a tehsil level, as well as the revenue circle level, and then we check the which particular pocket is performing uh, homogeneously, and on a basis of that we generated the strata, and on the basis of that strata we generate this point. So earlier the government was doing 8,000 crop cutting experiment in one district. Now they are doing only 1,200 crop cutting experiment. So on a basis of this methodology, basically they reduce almost 60 to 70%, the cost. Well, because the per crop cutting experiment, government is paying almost 900 rupees, and what they are doing, they are they have to do the cut the crop within a 5 meter by 5 meter square, and they have to collect how much yield is coming from that particular the crop cutting experiment, and then they are extrapolated on a whole village. So during the choosing of the CC points or CC field, there were very huge bias was available earlier because they are following the random sampling approach. So on a basis of the random sampling approach, what they are doing, they are taking a whole image, the fields. On a basis of the all fields, they are choosing a 4 fields randomly, and they are conducting the crop cutting experiment. So that was generating a very bias. So that was not very useful for the farmer side, because farmer was facing a problem when he was, he is continue at a continuous basis. If he's doing he's taking an insurance, or he is taking insurance from insurance side, insurance company side or government side. So for the next year, if the threshold is quite low, then definitely if there were a damage on a field, definitely the farmer will not get any money from insurance side. But from insurance side also, if if they are not able to map what is the performance exactly on a at a village level or at that insurance units level, then definitely they have to pay a money to farmers. So that was a challenge to ministry, how we can uh, smooth this particular process, and how we can reduce the biasness. So in that particular time, basically we provided a stratified sampling solutions for the CC, and now they implemented on 100 districts in India, and they reduce almost 60 to 70%, the cost also, as well as the biasness itself. Now this is the post damage assessment. So basically, you can see this is the Ganjam district, where Ganjam, this is in Odisha. They are in a Ganjam, basically they are growing a rice mostly. So due to the Titli cyclone, there were the damage in 2000, in 1718. So in 18, when the Titli cyclone hit on Ganjam district, then at the village level as well as the block level, how much area is coming under the damage, that percentage. And because in the Ganjam district they are growing up paddy basically. So paddy, how much area is coming under the damage, that also we analyzed at a near to real time basis, and we provided a solution to state government, as well as the uh, insurance companies, as well as the the districts also. And this is the another one part where we are generating we are doing a yield assessment through the satellite data. So here what we are doing, we are taking a end-to-end satellite data, and we are collecting previous year's in situ measurements that we are from a CC data. So on a basis of the CC data, we are getting an exact picture of that ground, how much that yield is coming from that particular farm, and on a basis of that, basically we are generating the yield. Basically, we are generating the yield at a farm level as well as the district level. So here, basically, what we are capturing satellite data, and we are generating different the time series databases. We are including other climatic agroclimatic factors like rainfall, temperature, humidity, and on a basis of these parameters, basically we are putting in a AIML algorithm. So basically, at an initial level, we use CNN and all different algorithms. On a basis of the algorithms, we are generating the yield at a farm level, as well as district and tehsil, uh, as well as the village level. So so this is the another one use case what we did actually in 2018 when the Kerala flood came in 2018. So that time we provided these solutions to central government as well as the Kerala state governments, and we rescue almost 14 to 15,000 people. So that time we calculated how much is the flood extent, what is the depth of the flood, which particular area is coming, mostly coming under the severe flood type, and what type of the property risk is there. And on a basis of the tower and the emergency call basis, basically we generated the heat map and what type of existing road network is available. If the road is available that is not submerged with the water on submerged with the flood, and all information we collected, and kind of we generate a heat maps from which particular reasons government is getting a more heat on a basis of the heat, and what type of existing infrastructures are available. On a basis of that we generated the solutions, and we provided these all solutions at a in real time basis to government, and they implemented the rescue operations uh, at a different district and the regional level. So this is the another one case on infrastructure monitoring and the decision side. You can see here. So road highway constructions. If any the highway constructions are going on a one particular place, then what type of road basically they are building. If the highway, if they are constructing, then if there were the damage in a highway, then where which particular patch is damaged actually, that part also we are identifying, and we are providing a solutions to the different clients. Another one, if you can see here, so from a solar energy potential side, if someone wants to put a solar plant or conventional energy part side, if they want to use, then which particular the roof is suitable for to put the the solar panel, what will be the angle, what is the potential solar energy is available on that particular roof. These all kind of insights we provided our different clients, so they can easily map within a the city where the building density is very high. So in that case what will happen, they can easily you know pick the buildings where they can put the solar panels, or they can target very easily. From the infrastructure side, you can see here, these are the particular you know the fields. You can see they are going to construct the building, but when we are checking a or different, so what we are doing, we are taking a time series data. On a time series data basis, we are checking at if there where a construction is going on, then at a what stage building is there. If that building is in a first stage, means there maybe they are going to do some kind of initial activity and all. Then at a later stage, because we are collecting our time series data, then on a basis of the time series data we can calculate, okay, if the construction is going on, then the construction is continuous or not. If the continuous, then what is the stage of the construction. This all information basically we can collect from a satellite data, and from a satellite, because the satellite data you will get a raw satellite data, but top of that you have to generate, you have to build a different types of algorithm. So that algorithm, while built this algorithm, we use a lot of the machine learning and deep learning models basically we use to generate this type of insights. And we generated a different, basically we made a different models for the different kind of the requirement wise. So here you can see once we completed this particular part, we customized and the our dashboard on a basis of the client requirement basis. So on a basis of the client requirement, basically they are not that level. So what we did, we provide this type of the different types of the circles. On a basis of the circles, they can identify where the construction is going on, where the construction is the construction is not going at present. So and if the construction is going on, then what is the stage is there. So satellite part or images also we are providing, so in a JPG format, so they can cross check very easily. So every time they don't have to go on that particular site, because let's say if there is a one particular the constructor is there and he has a 25 sites in a one particular in a one particular city, or maybe he has a 25 sites on a different cities, then how he can cover the whole cities, how he can um, monitor. So for that particulars also we provided a solution. Then second, from a cement site, so there were the different cement factories is available is there. So they are telling from which particular pocket the heat is coming, means where the construction is going on continuously basis, and where is the potential is very high. So for that so if the in a one particular pocket, if the potential is very high, then definitely there the consumption of the cements will be very high. So definitely they want to basically streamline the marketing, as well as the transportation process. So these solutions we provided to to cement factories and suppliers also, and the productions cement productions companies, as well as the constructions companies also. Now this is the or the patent products, basically recently only we developed. So most of the industries nowadays facing this problem, because due to cloud cover, especially in the kharif season, people are not able to get satellite data. So hello, I can call you, sir, 2 minutes. After half an hour. Just give me half an hour. So different, different uh, types of optical data is available, but due to cloud cover, we are not able to get a data set. So definitely we are not able to monitor. So let's say if there is a one particular place and there we are not getting a satellite data, then we are not able to monitor at a continuous basis. Or if there were some natural calamities happen, then how you can predict how much area is going to affect by the flood and all. So this was the challenge actually earlier. So what we did, we use a different AI ML models, and we generated a synthetic, or we can say the deep fake image. So we generated the synthetic images or synthetic bands uh, uh, from a satellite data, and we can see here very easily. And if you want to see these images, or live images, you can see on a Sparta that I already shared the link with the Mr. Ganesh, so he can maybe he forward with the all.
Already forwarded, sir. I shared
Yeah.
in WhatsApp group.
Yeah. Thank you, Ganesh. So there you can see. So here, I'm not getting any satellite data, but what I did on a basis of the previous year's satellite data as well as the microwave data. So basically, what we did, we fused two different satellite data sets. Microwave data, because microwave data at a continuous basis we can get it, but from our optical data, I can get a previous, the day's data sets, but today, if the cloud cover is available, I will get this type of blank data. So we basically we made a AI ML algorithm, and we generated optical images from a SAR. So if you have a SAR data, you have a previous month's optical data, and at a current time, if the data sets, or if the current time, or even if next 2 months data sets, optical data or anything is not available on that particular region, then also you will get the satellite data very easy. So this is our the patent product we filed already. And and we are providing services to this kind of services we are providing to insurance, reinsurance, and the banking the clients actually. And this is the another one, or basically this is our another one product. This also did we filed the patent. So basically at present, the surface soil moisture is available at a 10-kilometer spatial resolution. You can see here only the one particular, the color is coming. That is a some 20. So for the this much big reason, you are getting a one value. Means if there were maybe hundreds or thousands of farms, you can get it in a one particular farm in this area. But what we generated, we are generating a 20-meter spatial resolution surface soil moisture we are generating. Here also we use a CNN and different interpolations model, the techniques and the algorithms we use to generate the surface soil moisture up to 10 centimeter. And this product is available at a daily basis also. So and extensively we did a validation with the existing data, as well as at a farm, at a basically we collected a lot of in situ measurements from ground through the IoT devices, and we validated our the 20-meter surface soil moisture daily product. And we are going to serve from this season onwards. But still we are because this particular product now is in version 1, we can say. So now also we are checking how we can improve our product, because there were some dependency on optical data. So how we can reduce up to some extent. So on a in a version 2 side, we are going to work on that particular part. So you can see here, whatever you hear the surface soil moisture, how it's coming, basically how we are, how we validated with the with the rainfall. Here you can see, if this is the one particular district, Fatehbad, if you can see at a farm level how it's going to change in a different time frame. And on a basis of the time frame, you can see how the surface soil moisture is going to vary, and how it's correlating with the rainfall, and as well as the existing existing soil moisture product. So existing soil moisture product is available on a 10-kilometer spatial resolution. But so that is, let's say, if that is a reference, then how we can validate with the existing product. So this part you can see here. If you see the deviation, means 0 to 25% deviation, means where the means if you are getting a 30% moisture from us this AMSR2 data. So same 30% moisture if 31% moisture if I'm getting from a 20-meter spatial resolution data, means that particular data will come under the 0 to 25% deviation. So you can see here the 75 to 100% deviation where the both data sets are not matching is very less. It's 1% of pixel. 1% of pixel means very less. So here we check the sensitivity analysis with the precipitation also, because we have to validate very properly. Otherwise, how we can scale up or how we can provide to the industry. So still the our validation is going on, because that is a cyclic process. We have to validate, because this is a very if we are talking about the soil moisture, surface soil moisture especially, means that is a very uh, you know dynamic things. It will change very frequently, so we have to check, and it will affect by region wise also. And the soil moisture will affect by the different the factors will affect. So maybe the runoff, drainage conditions, rainfall intensity, type of crop, and a lot of parameters is affecting the surface soil moisture. So definitely we have to validate in a different way, different ways. If there where the rainfall is going to high, or one particular day, if one particular region is receiving 20, 30, or 50 rainfall, then how it's going to change, how it's going to affect the surface soil moisture. This part also we already covered and we validated. Now, how we can use the surface soil moisture in a different in a different applications. Basically, we can use in agriculture and water resource management. This is on agriculture, crop insurance side, flood, fire, and landslide prediction side also we can use. Now, this is the one particular part where we are generating the farm score. Basically, if one farmer have a 1 acre or 1 hectare farm, then if he want, so what type of his farm is performing, what is the farm score he is getting on a basis of the previous year's history. And once his farm is performing well, uh, then definitely on a basis of this score, he can get a loan very easily from a banks. Now this is the crop stage identification using the remote sensing data. So this is the one dashboard. Basically, this every stage wise, the farm ID is belongs to every farm, or each and every farm wise. So how that particular farm is performing, what is the stage of that particular farm, this everything we basically we mapped here. And we can check the condition, and on a basis of that condition, we can streamline very easily the insurance aspect, insurance side also, the insurance side, as well as if we want to implement any contingency plan, or if we are going to provide any types of the schemes, if let's say if we want to implement, then definitely how we can implement. So for that particular thing, the implementation side, we should know what is the stage of crop, what type of crop they are growing on that particular stage, what is the crop cycle, if they are growing a one particular crop, and what type of the irrigation facilities and everything. If the the implementation all information is available, then definitely we can implement very easily and we can use for the different purpose. Now this is the satellite IoT devices. Basically we installed, and on the basis of these devices, uh, we are going to scale or satellite products. Basically, if let's say if I want to put 100 IoT devices, So that is not very economical. If I want to cover the whole area, and I want to see the what type of conditions are there and how that particular area is performing. Because if I want to cover another one reason, then definitely I have to put more IoT devices. Then what we are doing, we are providing solutions to IoT, the clients also, as well as those people wants to manage a very big region with the limited resources. So we generated, or we developed some modules. On a basis of that modules, we are generating what type of homogeneous regions are available within one particular the area, and on a basis of that they can uh, decide how many IoT devices is required on that particular system. So this is the basically our solution structure, if you can say, from at a broader level. So from here, basically, we are getting drone data, satellite data, and the other ancillary IoT device, IoT data sets. Everything we are going getting from this side, and the existing or ancillary data, whatever is available. And then from the all data sets, basically, we are going to put in a or cloud, and there on a basis of the application side and the use case side, we are we are taking a whole data sets. Maybe some places the satellite data is required, then satellite data with the ancillary data is required to generate the crop application, agriculture, crop and plant side. We want to generate a swing and all. So here the different application wise we are generating on this particular level. And then every customer have a own you know every customer have the own requirement, and kind of the existing the packages or solutions are available. So on a basis of the customer, the feasibility basis, and the how what type of the integration basically he wants. On a basis of that only we are customizing the solutions here. So this is the overall pictures here. Basically from a cyber security side, what are the take the challenges we are facing, and what are the problems customer also face, we can also face. So this security side also we are taking care of. So this is the another one, the platform, that is or a Sparta sets or a Sparta platform. From there, that platform you can use freely, and on a basis of just you have to do the registration. After registration, once you will do the login, you can take images from a Sparta. You can collect the information. If if you are going to target a one particular region, and that particular reason is not available on a Sparta, then you can put a request also. And then once you will get a request, and on a basis of the ticket race only, we can process the data, and we can put on a Sparta. And from a Sparta, you can collect the all data sets, all information through API also, or at a image format also you can download. Now this is the disaster impact assessment. You can see here the pre-cyclone flooding, and after cyclone, how much area uh, had got affected by the flood. This all the live the insights we generated for the government, as well as the uh, insurance uh, companies, and how much area is coming under the the cropped area, and how much area is basically damaged due to flood. This all the basically the insights we generated, and all information we put on a portal. So this is the live portal basically. Now we build for the digital, agriculture aspect. Also, we built a lot of applications. So this is the crop trail application. So on a basis of the crop trail application, the farmer as well as the banker can, collect the information, and the forecasting side also, he can get information very easily, even if he want to monitor his field. So only he can use this application. Just he has to mark one particular his field, and then once he will push, or he will send that particular field on our platform, that will go on a Sparta, and he can take all information, how was the performance, what crop is growing, and all everything he can do from a Sparta. So these are the, the basically the farmers, how many farmers basically, we are connected, and what are the what is our global recognition is here. And this is the, or basically the core DNA team in a set show. So Pratik Basu is, he's basically co-founder and the CEO at present, and I'm working as a, the technical director in a set show. So this is the team. Basically, those are, the taking care of the different verticals, businesses, as well as, because our presence right now in 8 to 12 countries. So the at a country basis also, the people are heading. So this was the site shows, the use cases wise, the how the people can use the satellite data, especially in agriculture, as well as the other verticals. And how, if you guys want to use very extensively the satellite data in a different verticals, even if someone wants to build a different algorithm, then how they can build, and how they can use, or how they can generate a different use cases for the digital agriculture side or infrastructure side and all. Yeah, so thank you, Ganesh. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. I would like to call upon participant. Do you have any queries? Now session open for questions.
Yeah.
Answers.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes, sir, please.
I'm Dr. Jagdish Sharma.
Yeah.
I log in through this website, and I find that it is giving the mean and some indices. But if I want to extract the raw data and then apply some AI ML algorithm, how I can extract these data?
Okay. So yeah, so your question is good actually. So if we are going to provide a raw data on a or a platform, then what will happen? People have to do the process. Actually, they have to process, and they can generate a different insights. But here, what we are doing, we are already processing the satellite data, and we are generating a different insights, like a derived product like a NDVI, NDWI. They can use directly in agriculture. If you want to if you want to raw data like a satellite data, if you want to use, just you have to put a one request, because from a raw data only we are generating these insights. So you can get a raw data also there, where the download option is also available.
One thing that suppose I want the pre-processed data, and I want to apply the different algorithm.
Yeah. So from a different algorithm side, let's say if you want to use if you want to apply any algorithm, right? So
Yes.
in that case, at a what particular data you are going to use. That you once you will figure out. Let's say if you want to run your algorithm, or if you want to make algorithm on a NDVI dataset, so you can select 2 dates, right? Maybe
Okay.
June to November time frame you can select, and within that time frame you can download the whole NDVI datasets, and once you can
I
come up
tried.
with, yeah.
I tried. It is showing that image and also showing some download Excel, but I could not download that Excel file.
So okay.
Would you like to demo?
Yeah. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, you can see my screen.
No, sir. It is in blank.
Now we can see, sir. Now
We can see.
Okay, fine. So this is a our platform, right? Here you have to register, login, right? So
Sir, it's visible.
hello.
Visible.
yeah,
Visible.
yeah, it's visible.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, so here 2 things you will get. One is the data explorer, one is the API explorer, right? And this is the SiteStore Cygnus product. So basically, why we are not running Cygnus? Because this is this is going under the premium. This is not a free. But if someone wants to free product, just he can, once he will do the login, he has to click on a data explorer. Here he will choose the country India, let's say. Any state he can select. Any any district, let's say he can select Hisar, or within a Hisar if he wants to work, or the Bhilwara district, just he has to put a search. Now he can select here the crop. So this is the my login is a kind of premium one. So so here itself only, if he is click on a land, detail elevation model, data surface model, he can go. Even here also he can select product white. Okay, so here only he can go to crop agnostic. Here once he will select the crop health condition, once he will decide the date, let's say 2019 June to maybe he wants to do, let's say December 19. Oh, sorry. Start date and the end date, let's say I'll take anything. June 18. Once he will put a search, he will get images. So once he will put it here, he can see here the cloud cover is available, right? Fine. Once he will click on this one, he will get images. Here the cloud cover is also available in that particular place. Now like that he can go. If you will click here the cloud cover is not cloud cover is available. You just go to on here Cygnus. So once you will click on the Cygnus, you can raise the requirement you want this particular date image. So once we will get that particular the ticket, then only we are able to do the process for this particular reason. Now here you can download here PNG and TIFF file. So once you will click on a TIFF file, you can download here easily, right? Request the data, everything will come, and once you will submit, you can download the TIFF file like that. So okay, so the request went on our platform. So once you will get a the the mail from our site, you can download very easily. But from PNG site, if you want to download the PNG images, you can see here. Just you have to click here, PNG, it will download. It's downloading 61%, like that. Even if you want to see here, this is the crop health index. So just you have to click on a CSV. You can download very easily the CSV also. Or if you want to see this one, if you want to download this one, you can download here. The graph will come. You can see the graph. So these options are available. Even same for the temperature, rainfall, evapotranspiration, even the images also. So it's downloading also. It's 92%. It's downloaded. Once it will download, you will get an image zip. So these options are available here. If you want to go for the another one product like a digital elevation model, just you have to search digital elevation model. Click it here. You can download the digital elevation model also. Now, if you want to know the CO2 conditions, these also available on platform itself. So from a search, once you will put here only, CO2 will come. What is the condition of the CO2? So this everything you can get on a platform itself. Now, from a water data set side, if you want to see the surface water, what is the condition? Just you have to give the date and the end date you have to select. Once you will put the search, you will get a surface water. Oh, sorry. Zoom. Okay, so in this particular date, you are not getting any the water body on this particular part. So once you will go, or you will statistics, you will put it here, or once you will clear it everything, you will get everything from here only. You can download. Now if someone wants to use API, so here also just he can go here, crop acreage. If he wants to use, he will click it here, execute. So this is the API view. If they want to use, how they can use it. And from a map view side, they can see the map view also. What is the condition in 2021-10 in October 2020, and what was in what is the condition in 2010? Earlier was a August condition. So this API is also available with the different parameter wise. Here you can see NO2, evapotranspiration, cold storage, warehouse, temperature, rainfall, crop harvest progression, crop moisture index, crop health index, crop performance, crop acreage. So whatever the products people are using generally in to build one kind of solution, that all the all products are available freely on a Sparta platform.
Clear, sir? Request. I would like to request other participant please.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, in chat box they just given one query whether that API is free or premium.
Yeah, free.
Free.
So, yeah.
Yes,
So those persons wants to use the API, they can use the API. If someone wants to use, the data side wala part, they can use that.
Sir, another question also they mentioned. Please specify some research problem in this area.
So in this area means
Yes.
especially in agriculture or
I think
infrastructure.
Combination of agri and satellite work.
Yeah, so in the agriculture area, basically, where the people are facing a problem or research problem is where the people are doing a multi-cropping. Actually, multi-cropping or intercropping is available. So what happen? Let's say if the one farmer is growing cotton with red gram, right? So in that case, you will get a 4 rows of cotton, 1 or 2 rows of red gram. So in that case, you will get a one combined, the values of that particular farm. So in that case, you are not able to predict the yield as well as the monitoring side also what type of situation is there. So in that particular case, there were some solutions are available. Some people are using the fraction pixel techniques they are using, or spectral unmixing. These are the techniques basically people are using on a satellite data. So on a basis of this, they can get results. But on a basis of the deep learning or machine learning, like I showed already, how we identified the basically the tomato crop species. So they are also that type, the different algorithm, ABCNN, or your random forest and all. You can use different types of algorithm or the combine of algorithm we can use here, and we can solve this particular problem, because this is a problem still available in agriculture.
Correct, sir. I would like request participant. Do you give any feedback of Mr. Pradeep Kumar sir? Any oral feedback? Mukesh sir. Sir, unmute yourself, sir. Sir, you are in mute. You are in mute. Sir. Now okay, sir.
So related to Sparta Explorer is a very nice, very fruitful for us related to research about the soil information or different part of the area.
Yeah.
You can collect easily. And very thankful about this information and very fruitful sessions.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so I want to tell one more thing, especially. So when when we started our company, so that time there were no such type of this platform was available. People, if someone wants to see the farm or he wants to generate, what type of conditions are available on a farm. If he wants to generate, then definitely he has to download the data sets. He has to process the whole process he wants to do, and the people are not up to that level or not aware how they will download the data sets, how they will process and all. So what we did, we processed the whole raw data sets from our side. We'll put the all insights on a platform, so people directly can use and they can generate the insights on top of that. So that problem was available up to last year up to last year. So then after that we realized we have to provide some kind of solutions to society, so even the students want to use for the project purpose and all, so they can use easily the agroclimatic data as well as the satellite data.
Nice, sir. I think yes. Please, sir. Mukesh sir.
One more information I require. Can I collect some sensor data regarding the weather forecasting from this?
So sensor data. So weather forecasting side basically we are not providing, because I want to clear one part here, because now weather forecasting side you will basically there were the three types of forecasting is available: long term, short term, and medium range forecast. So in the medium range, basically 4 to 7 or 8 days data basically we are getting. But in a long term basis, basically up to 14 days data we are getting. But the forecast data is not very accurate. So let's say if I am going to put the forecast data on a platform, and tomorrow someone will ask, I use a 3 days forecast or medium range forecast, but on a basis of the forecast, I generate a results, and that is not accurate because your forecast was not accurate. So that's why we are not providing that information. But for the internal purpose and the client side, basically we are using a short range forecast data. Basically we are using.
So, what is the solution for it? Can we collect manually?
Yeah, so for this, basically if you want to collect this type of forecast data, actually you can go directly on a IMD website, right? In the IMD website, basically they are providing a forecast data at tehsil level or maybe block level, and block level also they are providing. So from there, basically you can collect. But if you want to collect manually this forecast data, then there also you will get a 4 to 5 days forecast data itself only. More than that, if you want to collect, then you have to go with some kind of the AccuWeather or IBM kind of organization.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. I think, sir, today's session is really nice, sir. It's went well, good, because that showed how you explained the demo, like using of your software. I think it is very much useful for the farmers also for the coming years, because how you are forecasting about the entire agri sector related about land, draining, something. It's good concept. Maybe coming years we have a more demand for the research also. There is a more scope.
Yeah.
It's really wonderful and informative session, sir. Hope all the participants also given their opinion through chat box and also orally also. And on behalf of FDP and on behalf of IAPM, I would like thank you, sir. And I'm sure further we have more and FDPs or MDPs. We'll invite you, sir, and we'll happy to collaborate with you, even not only for the training programs and also for research oriented, like Agri, SAT, SURE. Right? Very much happy to collaborate with you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And one more thing I want to add, from a research, side, basically we are, doing a research activities also inside only in a SATSURE, and we did a kind of, the disruption in a space industry. First we generated, so because we generated the SATSURE signals, that is totally depends on your the Python, deep learning, machine learning, and AI algorithm. So there were a lot of the opportunities are available. So if the people are interested, they can work with us also. That is not a problem. If they want to, if some students wants to, they are interested in a deep learning, machine learning part, and they know the basics, everything from a data science side. So they can, so we are providing, the 3 or 4 months training also. In that training, they are, especially they are actively work with our company, and we are providing some stipends also. So that type of, the provision is also available in our side.
Yes. I think some are participants asking your email ID.
Yeah.
Is it training, something training online, something in chat box that mentions?
So my email ID is, I'm typing here. So if you guys have any query, so someone is asking, is there any training fee? No. So we are not providing a training. Basically, we are providing an internship. If you have a student and they are very interested, and the student have a kind of caliber, we are providing a stipend and training both.
Yes, sir. Yes. I think almost you cleared all the queries.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ganesh, sir, shall we?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ganesh.
Thank you, sir. We'll keep in touch. We'll